Divorce me while I am sick? That's fine, enjoy being single. Welcome to Reddit Rundown. In today's video, we will share again about one of the all-time top posts in Reddit's petty revenge page. Woo! Not my story, but a family friend's story. I knew this lovely German lady who I will call Heidi. Not real name. She was married to an Israeli man who I'll call Douche. Douche was a douche for a number of reasons. He worked with my dad in IT, who said he had a hero complex, where he would cause disasters at work, and then try to be the hero and save the day. We even suspect he caused a huge IT disaster at our national airport while he was working there. He was also really creepy. He creeped on my younger sister, calling her randomly and asking to pick her up. He was the exact opposite of his wife, who was lovely and sweet and charismatic, and I have no idea how they ended up together. Unfortunately, while after we made friends with them, Heidi got very sick. Her colon stopped working, she almost died. Thankfully, she was in a country with stellar healthcare who saved her life. But she found she has Crohn's disease, and she had to get a colostomy bag. While she was recovering from her surgery, Douche announced he wanted to divorce. His words were, and I quote, "I didn't marry a sick woman. Prick." He left her high and dry, and very soon was seeing someone else. He lost all the friends he had made in our country with his awful behavior. My family told him he was no longer welcome near us as we were there for Heidi. He finally fecked off back to Israel. Apparently he had got into quite a bit of debt while in my country, and skipped off to avoid paying. Good riddance, we all said. Heidi found her feet eventually. She took up photography, and went to university to study it. She did very well for herself, and lived a happy life free from Douche. After about a year, Douche contacted Heidi, and she told us all about it. Apparently, he was trying to sweet-talk her into going over to Israel to go through with the divorce proceedings. According to Heidi, your marital status is on your identity card in Israel, and it's one of the first things a girl asks to see when you go on a date. When the girls saw he was married on his card, they'd never go for a second date. So every time he'd call her asking when she was coming over, she'd put a huge shit-eating grin on and reply, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not really in a position to fly with my condition and all. Maybe when I get better." She knew full well he won't set foot back here because his creditors were still looking for their money back. She would just relish in the knowledge that he was getting rejected by all those women he was pursuing in Israel while she chilled with us having a great time. Heidi is doing much better now. She went back to Germany, though still visits my family and her friends from time to time. She's still her awesome self. I don't know what Douche is up to now, but I suspect after all these years he is still a douche. Woo! Here are the top comments in this post. Woo! This is beautiful. Typically in Israel, due to really messed up marriage laws, the husband can refuse divorce, and it becomes a whole thing where the wife is stuck in the situation where she can't remarry or even really date. It's kind of poetic that it's going the other way this time. Side note, if she wants to be even more petty, it would be a terrible shame if she told the creditors about where he lives now. Even more shameful if they file a lawsuit in Israel where the debt gets pulled immediately from his bank account. Woo! Okay, so I'm not married, but isn't, through sickness and health, typically part of the vows? Woo! Once a year, she should ask him to send her money for a plane ticket, then have a medical emergency that prevents her from going. My wife and I purchased our house at a considerably lower price than it should have sold for. We were always puzzled as to why the sellers were seemingly in such a rush to sell. Our first offer was for tens of thousands less than the listing price, just as an opening salvo in the negotiation, and to our shock, they accepted it immediately. Everything went fine with the inspection. They even agreed to replace the furnace at their expense because it had a small crack in it. After moving in, we quickly became good friends with our neighbors across the street, and they filled us in on why the sellers were so eager to get rid of the house. A married couple lived there whose 2 kids had recently gone off to college. Everything seemed perfectly fine with them, as far as anyone in the neighborhood could tell. Then, out of the blue, the wife was diagnosed with aggressive cancer, I forget which kind, and given 6 months to live. She only survived about half that long, which may in part have been because, the day of the diagnosis, the husband packed his shit, moved out, and stopped answering her calls. Just totally cut her off. Family, friends, and neighbors were floored. Nobody expected him to be capable of that kind of thing. Our neighbors had to help care for her. My buddy across the street was over there every day doing what he could to help out, as was his wife, who fortunately works as an occupational therapist and could be helpful in that way. The kids were utterly overwhelmed by everything, as you'd expect. A family friend worked as a realtor and agreed to help them sell the house free of charge. The kids just asked her to please get it over with as soon as possible. They didn't ever want to see the house again or have to think about the process of selling it. Family friends came in and gave everything a fresh coat of paint and cleaned the place up. It was immaculate. She got it listed as soon as she could, and she accepted the first offer that came in hours. Woo! As someone with Crohn's, douche in his arsehole arse. Many people automatically shy away from you when you have a poop disease, no matter how much you're suffering. Thank heavens for my wife and friends. The best revenge is living well, but I would still laugh if somebody kicked out of that penis for his dick. Woo! What a prick. I know how hard it is caring for sick people, and could understand it causing a breakup, but to not even try and just off, and it's your wife, that's so scummy. Only good is he obviously didn't love her, so she is good to be rid of him. Woo! Out of all of the fantastic revenge in this story, the part I maybe love most is that you changed her name to a perfectly lovely name, but he only gets to be named Douche. It's perfect. Woo! Douche was a douche, but not because he left Heidi. Heidi's story is very familiar to mine. Got a stomach disease and was very sick for a long time. My longtime girlfriend left me. Her words, "I don't want a sick boyfriend, it hurt a bit. But I completely understand. It's stressful being with someone whose health is bad. Late night trips to the hospital, staying in the hospital for over a week a couple times a year, appointments, days where I'm so sick I can't wake up or do anything. It makes sense to leave someone because of all that stuff. They shouldn't have it held against them. I didn't ask to be sick, but they didn't ask to be responsible for someone who is dying." This is Reddit Rundown. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thanks for watching.